What's going on, guys and gals? Stock Jock here, up $1,006 in the first hour of trading. Here are my live trades. In the top right hand corner, you can see my realized gains for that first hour of trading. Markets obviously a bloodbath recently, and today was no different. So, going into my first trade, this one was a chat room pump. You'll hear, to be honest, I got to my trading station like 3 minutes before the bell, so I didn't have any time to do any kind of my checklist, check the gappers, see what the chat rooms were talking about. Had I known that, I would have been watching IMPX out of the gate, and as soon as there was any kind of volume coming into it, I probably would have jumped into it. This is a recent reverse split stock that E-Trade is showing, if you can see at the top part of your screen there, 553,000 shares in the float. It wasn't that low. It was like a 1.3 million shares. Ridiculously low float stock, and there was multiple chat rooms talking about it, come to find out. So anyway, when I heard the name, it was one that's been on my watch list for the past 3 days, just waiting for it to take off. When I heard the chat room jump into it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot about this. I go over there, I don't even look, and I dive in. And that was a mistake because I chased this thing 80 cents, and I really could have gotten burned on this thing. Luckily, I didn't. So you'll see that as soon as I had the opportunity to get out with profit, I took it. But yeah, I was definitely pretty red on this for most of my time in it, and I was just happy to get out for profit. But again, this is one that I should have been paying attention to. I jumped in because of chat rooms were jumping into it, and I didn't even look to where the price action was, and you'll see that I jumped in. It wasn't 80 cents. It was about 60 cents, a 60-cent jump, and I jumped into it. So it's something I would never do normally. I just wasn't. It was reckless.
I'm along INPX here, taking a starter on INPX. Along
CARB,
INPX for a
Carbonite,
break of
arrow mark reporting
25.
a 6.858, sorry, reporting a
Long IMPX chat
5.2%
room
stake in
pump.
Carbonite as of December 31. That's Charlie Alpha Romeo Bravo.
The high right now is 415. So let's over the high of that first candle, 430. Just added on INPX at 425. Looking for this to break over 450, over the $0.50.
And Fossil Group, also a 13G, Contrarious Investment, reporting a 6.7% stake.
This one being a recent reverse
That's in a
split,
13G,
I think we've got some good
filing
potential on it.
Sandy Lima.
I'm out plus 10.
I'm going to put an order at the...
So my next trade is BSPM, and this is one that I've hated recently. I just have not liked this stock at all. It hasn't been trading like it usually would trade. It's only 2 million share float, yet when volume pours into this thing, it just like it feels like there's a brick wall in front of it. I don't know. I told myself I wasn't going to trade this today. I told my chat room I wasn't going to trade it today, and as soon as Jason's Bond group went long it, what did I do? I jumped into it immediately. And I was so mad at myself. As soon as I jumped into this thing, I was like, screw it, I'm just getting out. I'm gonna put my order up on the ask for like a penny win, and that's what I did, and I was fine with taking $20 profit getting out of it.
Now.
Jason Bond bought BSPM.
There's high of day.
Dropping to the low,
We want to see
231.50.
this continue to squeeze. There's buyers at 587,
November Victor Delta Alpha.
595. Watching the level 2 here. Got it ordered to add back over $5. Scalp the second break because I'm looking for that 512 spot.
So my next trade was INPX. This one was the one that ran like crazy, and this was a 5-minute setup. If you look over on the top left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see my 5-minute chart on this. You had the initial pop out of the open, you had a pullback candle, you had another 5-minute candle, which is a green candle, and then you have the current candle that we're in right now. And that last candle, the last 5-minute candle, ended at the top of its range. So what I like to do is what I call the 5-minute play. Is it's not the prettiest setup here, but nonetheless I was going to try it because of how volatile the stock is. After a pop, I let the stock pull back, preferably give me 2 pullback candles. In this case, it would be the red candle and then the green candle after it. And what I mean by pullback is we have candles back to back that don't make new highs and don't make new highs off each other. So after we do that, then I look to play the first 5-minute candle that breaks the high of the previous 5-minute candle. So we're inside the little tiny little red 5-minute candle there, and the idea is to, as soon as it looks like it's going to break the previous 5-minute candle's high, I go long there, and that's when buyers would show up as well. I got head faked right here. It looked like it was going to break. I jump in, and as soon as I jump in, it just stops moving. So, and I get flushed out. It broke down below the VWAP. I only took half shares on this, so I was okay with holding. But since it broke below the VWAP, I wanted to see if it would bounce and give me a better exit for a loss, or if it would go candle over candle on the 1-minute chart, and I would just use the low of that candle that broke through the VWAP as my stop loss. And what ended up happening is we didn't get a bounce or a good bounce, and it ended up flushing out. And as it looked like it was going to break the low of that candle I was talking about in the 1-minute, you'll see it. I sold for a loss that basically took away all my profits from the morning.
This again is a little micro pullback.
All right, I'm jumping in 469. It's half shares because I'm trying to get in a little early. I'll look to add if it gets to the VWAP.
Sold for right now at 65. I can get back in.
And that is why I took half shares.
There, seeing some selling going through on the time and sales. So let's just watch to see what this does. The high is 480, so that's the spot I'm going to keep an eye on. 480.
Still holding. Big keeps getting smacked. I want to see what the next 1-minute does. That'll tell me if I just dump it or not. I'll always look to play for the 5-minute. So right here, you look at the L2, you've got 445 on the bid, 450 on the ask, and underneath 445 on the bid side, there's really nothing there. So I use that as my backstop. That ended up being my stop loss. If it looked like that 445 wall was going to break, I wanted to sell into it because I knew that, I mean, just looking at the L2 there, you've got 300 shares at 442, you've got 200 shares at 441, 1,300 at 440, and then it runs out of shares really quick. So that's just a prime example of a flush waiting to happen. And you'll see that the L2, people start hitting that 445 and they start selling into it. And when I see that happen, I'm just like, I got to get out. All right, stopped out. Half share size, about minus 15 on it. I knew I was chasing. I knew it was risky, so I'm okay with the loss. So IMPX, this is the trade that just hurt me, but I was willing to do it again. You can see here this is the trade that really got me green for the morning, and you'll see why I was so willing to try this stock over and over again, even though I just lost money on it. All right, so you can see here right in the middle of the screen the 1 minute chart. You see the little orange line I drew? Those were the higher lows that the stock was making, and we broke that trend, so you got to throw that out of the window. But what is very interesting is on the 1 minute here, we started channeling. We started going from 420. See those two candlesticks that tap 420 and then pop back up, and then on the top side you have that VWAP, that teal line. That's the top side of this channel. So now, and I didn't draw it, but you can see it here pretty clear. 420 is the bottom of the channel, and then that VWAP area is the top of the channel. And I am looking for the break of that top side of the channel, and I thought 450, that $half mark, in the break of that, the volume coming in would be enough to push this thing over, and therefore push it up to the upside of that channel. Buyers would come in, and then, which would coincide with the 5 minute chart over here going candle over candle that I tried to play last 5 minutes, or 5 minutes ago, the previous play. So you'll see that I get in, it doesn't do what I thought it would do. I should have bailed. I don't know why I didn't. I was really kind of looking at the double bottom, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a bullish sign. Maybe if I just hold and wait it out. You can hear two chat rooms that I subscribe to, Jason Bond Picks and Where You're Trading. They're both looking at the stock at the exact same time, and that's like a total of 3,000-4,000 people combined in those chat rooms. So I know that there's eyes on this thing just from those two chat rooms, and then there's other chat rooms out there that I don't even subscribe to that no doubt we're looking at this thing. So I held on thinking that volume is just around the corner. It definitely was going to stop out if that 420 area broke, but luckily enough, it did break the top side of that channel, which led to buying, which led to us going candle over candle in the 5 minute, which led to more buying, which led to the eventual halt of the stock on a circuit breaker.
It's the rip. Here's the chart. Let's see this thing go. If it gets above yesterday's high, we should see 5. Yesterday's high was 490s. I'm fairly small in the position. I know a lot of you guys and gals love it too.
I think IMPX was gapping up because of the reverse.
Long IMPX 449.
Started to jump on it.
So I'm on there for 4,000, and this is what we're looking at here on this juicy
I
trade,
had the last 5 minute
which should
candle
be exciting.
is 79.
See the
There were
small
some
caps
sellers in
working
the
here on a
70s,
Friday.
so
Window capture.
Just looking for that 50 break. Didn't give me what I wanted. I should bail now.
How's everybody doing today?
a couple at 80.
There comes a little volume.
Awesome. Good start here. There it goes. There we go. There it is. There's the chart. That's what you want to see. So you got that early ramp, some profit
All right, come on,
taking,
5 minute
secondary
candle.
ramp.
Watch
This
this
could be an all-day
here.
mover. It's hard to say.
I'm long at 75.
But that's what you want to
Back
see
over
right now. We want to
$5
see that
here.
pop right through the high of day here.
I've got an
Heavily short.
order. I'm gonna add on this into
Ooh,
this halt
hey.
because
Nice spike. Looks like it's going to hold.
most
Giddy up,
likely
baby. Giddy
squeeze
up.
out early short
Man.
sellers.
So coming out of the circuit breaker, I had a very defined strategy that I talked about in my own chat room of how I was going to play this. The previous runners that hit circuit breaker halts, all in the past 3 weeks, they would pop, they would gap up, and then they would immediately sell off. So you get, a few opportunities to sell for a profit before the thing would tank, and that's how I was going to play today, and that's how I'll play future circuit breaker halts until the market changes, until one of these runners decides to gap up for a second time for a second circuit breaker halt, which we haven't seen in about 3-4 weeks now. So they've all recently gapped up and then sold off pretty hard, and that's exactly what happens here. So I had a strategy going into it that I'd sell half for anywhere I could above 5, and then I would hold that second half a little bit longer to see what the stock was going to do, see if it could run a little bit more. But it's important to take half off at this point just to make sure I'm profitable. Because the thing is this thing could, I mean, it started the day off at 350, and the only reason why it's popping up because it's a low float stock that multiple chat rooms are pumping right now. So you got to keep that in mind, right? This thing isn't, it's not running on good news. It's probably at all-time lows just yesterday. So you got to keep this stuff in perspective. You can't get married to these things. So yeah, I wanted to take half profit right away, and then I felt comfortable, you know, playing around with the rest of my position. You know, at the very worst, I would stop out, break even on it, but obviously the goal is to make money. So you'll see that it does pop up. Looks like it's going to continue on, and it just couldn't hold, so I ended up selling.
All right, so hands on the keys, ready to trade, ready to add. Just added at 520.
Sold half 504.
Sold half. Let's see what this does. My average is 579 now. So the high was 530. So I'm going to put an order. Just added at 525 for the break over 530. So on this one, I'm trading a little more aggressively. Looking for that break over 530.
All right, sold the rest. Oh, bad fill on the last one, 506. And that's how I ended the day, up $1,006 in the first hour. I ended up about doubling that throughout the rest of the day. I was up about $2,000 or just over $2,000 by the end of the trading day. And the market's been absolutely crazy, so I'm very fortunate to have done well this week. I didn't have a single red day this week. Definitely started days red, but was able to pull it together and be green every single day this week. So if you have any questions on my trading style, feel free to come to my free Discord chat. The link for that is linked in the description down below. It's there for new traders. If you're a new trader and you're enjoying these videos and you like my trading style, come on in. I'd love to help you out and learn how to trade. When I was young and in my young trading years, I should say, I didn't have anybody that would answer any of my questions, and I know people have 1,000 questions out there on how to trade, and that's why I started this, you know. So there's no dumb questions. Please come in, please ask questions. We've got a lot of great traders in here now that are wanting to help and wanting to help people out, and that's what we're here for. So again, a link for that free Discord chat is in the link down below. If you're also interested in any of the subscription services that I subscribe to, a link for all those are in the description down below. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.